You don't hear about them much anymore, but they still exist. Mass Gainer supplements. Because bulking season is underway, I thought it would be fun to try to drink a Mass Gainer every day for an entire month. This is what happened, but you gotta focus. Boom, day one. Dude, I'm ready to get huge. This is a 6.5 pound container. So a serving size is 2 scoops, and holy moly, look at this. This is the size of a scoop. It's like a bucket. 1. I gotta do 2 of those. 2. How am I supposed to get this down? All right, this is supposed to be on the daily here. Let's try to get that blended. So my first serving of Mass Gainer was kind of a surprise. It ended up being way more powder than just your typical scoop of whey protein. That's because along with one serving being a little over 50 grams of protein, there's also over 100 grams of carbohydrates and 15 grams of fat for a total of a little bit under 800 calories. But I mean, that's the idea, to get those extra calories in for us hard gainers out there. But am I even a hard gainer? I don't know. Recently, I feel like I kind of have been. I've been doing so much other physical activity, and I've been trying to up my calories over the past month before doing this experiment, but my weight was kind of just not budging past the 190 mark. So I figured this might be helping me out for the next month as we dive into this bulk. Now with that being said, 800 calories, regardless of how you put it down, is still 800 calories, and trying to drink this all down in under 5 minutes after a workout was a bit much on my first day.
Do you want to get big or not? Come on.
But I got it done.
That was a fast 760 calories. All right, I gotta go.
Okay, but very important for this to work right based on my goals, I would have to continue eating as much as I was before starting the Mass Gainer, so that the Mass Gainer would end up being additional calories, so that I would therefore be gaining weight. And on the end of day 1, I was pretty happy with the amount I was able to get down, getting in the rest of my 3 meals that I had planned, bringing me to almost 4,500 calories. But remember, this is going to be a consistency thing to actually see the results. So day 2, I got to training on all these extra calories. And what has my training been like recently? Well, it's been a combination of calisthenics with a variety of other experiments that I've been doing that have been challenging my flexibility and cardio. And when I do these sessions, I've been pushing, and they've been lasting a long time, and that's probably where all the extra calorie burn is coming from, at least a large chunk of it. Anyways, on day 2, I decided to use a blender to mix this Mass Gainer, and let me tell you, it mixed so much better. But then I also added a scoop of colostrum, which is really regaining steam again, but is supposed to contain like some growth factors or whatnot. So I figured, why not? The more ingredients in my concoction, the better, right? And then I added in some frozen strawberries, blended it up, and at first this second Mass Gainer started going down pretty darn quickly, but by the end, once again, I could really like feel the calories.
Go. Oh, it's in there. Might drink that a little too fast. Holy smoke.
But here's the deal. About an hour and a half to 2 hours later, after sucking down this Mass Gainer, I was hungry, and I ate, and I continued to eat. And this continued to be the pattern for the next couple of days. Every time I drank the Mass Gainer, I felt very full towards the end of it, but it was only about an hour to 2 hours later where all of a sudden I was really hungry, and I was able to eat the same amount of meals I was before without the Mass Gainer with relative ease. And by the end of week 1, I got the itch to hit some weights, and not really having weight trained in a while, well, I felt relatively pretty darn strong, solid, and full in the muscles. And very promising at the end of this workout, with a mandatory physique check, I felt like I was looking bigger. But also, I didn't feel like I was looking much fatter, which was very surprising considering I was eating an additional 800 to 1,000 calories a day in the form of a liquid Mass Gainer. Now keep in mind I did have a pump and it was very good lighting. And yes, maybe it was just that initial bulk fill-up stage before things started to spill over as I continued to be consistent with this calorie surplus. Now week 2 started out being pretty smooth. I would have my Mass Gainer post-workout or on rest days in the morning before anything else, and it would always seem to spark my appetite about 1 to 2 hours later. One issue, however, was I was starting to run low on Mass Gainer. That's because in this giant 6-pound jug, there are actually only 15 servings, which would have been enough to last me about a week and a day. But not to worry, for this I planned ahead and planned to try to formulate my own mass gainer shake, attempting to mimic the macros from the one I was taking. So rather than just doing like scoops of vanilla ice cream and whole milk, which would have been a ton of fat, I wanted to have a high carb shake, and not just all sugar, but more of a moderate digesting carb. So for this, I got on Amazon freeze-dried sweet potato powder. So I would do 2 cups of whole milk, 1 heaping scoop of this sweet potato powder, but this actually still wasn't enough carbs, so I ended up doing 3/8 cup of coconut sugar. And then from there, I added 1.5 servings of my whey isolate flavor of choice, and this brought me to pretty similar macros of the mass gainer I was taking. But now it was at this point that it was the beginning of my nightmare. Now this footage you're seeing is actually from week 3, where I've already had a full week of trying to drink my homemade one down every day, but look at, I was still struggling because it was just awful. That sweet potato powder did not mix for some reason with the flavor profile of everything else I was putting in there. You would think it would be sweet and go down easy. It just wasn't. Also, and I'm sorry to my wife, I was getting some serious gas when I was drinking this homemade shake. Maybe the blend of my carbs just wasn't as digestible or something, or maybe it was the whole milk instead of just water. But yeah, it was like I had the most awful gas the entire week, and I did have some funny footage I recorded on my phone, but unfortunately I lost that because my phone literally erupted during the week. It was actually my fault. I have a future video coming out about how that happened. Regardless, weeks 2 and the beginning of week 3 were quite the struggle trying to switch to my homemade shake, and it wasn't getting any better. Now my weight was up another pound, but with all that gas, I just did not feel good. So by the middle of week 3, I figured, let's just go back to what was working. Anyways, something fun and random, I actually ended up going to Florida for 1 day. 1 day. But because it's fun, I thought I'd document it anyways. Before the airport, I drank a mass gainer. I packed 1 serving of this mass gainer to cover that 1 day in this plastic bag, which is, you just see how insane of an amount that is. The very next day after a Florida run, mixed this serving in probably way too little water and drank it down on the balcony. And then the next day ended up making it back home just in time at night to drink down another serving of mass gainer. Consistency, baby. And maybe starting to spill over a wee bit, but not too concerned because I was looking and feeling bigger, right on track. And in order to preserve my last remaining serving of the Transparent Labs mass gainer for emergency purposes, I decided to take this final week into my own hands. But this time go big.
I'm running low on mass gainer. We should just go full out. Who cares about the macros? Just make it taste good.
So for the final week for fun, I started making ridiculous homemade mass gainers, using almost this entire pint of ice cream, approximately 2 servings, 2 frozen bananas, a scoop and a half of my favorite whey protein isolate flavor from Transparent Labs, oatmeal chocolate chip. The rest of my colostrum will say about a serving, some collagen, and then I put in a half serving of creatine, and this drinkable behemoth ended up being over 1,000 calories, which I was able to drink down in about 5 minutes. So I ended up doing some ridiculous variations of this throughout week 4. Because that ice cream wasn't cost effective, using just whole milk a couple of times, maybe adding some frozen strawberries, bananas, some additional coconut sugar for some more carbs. One time I even experimented making my own vegan mass gainer shake, using organic vegan protein powder, some bananas, and some oatmeal blended in the shake for carbs. This was interesting, but the flavors actually assimilated better than I thought.
That's pretty good.
Anyways, after having a mass gainer every day for the last 4 weeks, where was my body at?
This is my old 14 Pro, by the way. Got it reactivated.
So down 1 pound from the peak of my weight during this 1 month frame, so approximately up 5 pounds. In my opinion, it looks like I got subtly, evenly bigger everywhere, which is actually what I wanted. I don't look like I put on that much body fat, and as for my muscles, they appear fuller. Now, like I had mentioned earlier in this video, I've been doing a ton of physical activity around and not around training, so I believe my calorie burn has been very high. So with that in mind, I am very happy with the results of putting on 5 pounds. Something I also failed to mention is I noticed my energy levels throughout the course of this this month, staying and maintaining high. As in, I never felt like I was in a deficit, and with all the physical activity I have been doing, perhaps taking down this daily mass gainer, putting me in a surplus, gave me that extra energy to get through all of the activity I had been up to. Not only that, but I feel like I just kicked off the bulk hard. Should I grow back the beard though? Let me know. And let me know your favorite homemade mass gainer formula. With that being said, if you didn't notice, I used a lot of Transparent Labs supplements during this video. That's because I am an affiliate with them, and I believe they make a very high quality product. If you're interested in any of their products and you want to use my affiliate link, it'll be in the description of this video. You should get a 10% off, or you can go to transparentlabs.com and use code FOCUS at the checkout. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned. More videos coming out. Peace. I will see you all in the next video.